20s and 30s were very crucial years, and the build-up against the British rule was gaining momentum all over the country, and as a matter of fact, all over the world. And the number of cases where people were taken to jail for offences, for imaginary offences, because somebody shouted Vande Mataram, he was promptly taken to jail. Like that, a lot of arrests, a lot of deportations. Many people were sentenced for life, and people died in the so-called central jail of the Andamans, where there was circular jail, and number of cases of people who were sent to Andamans who never came back. Like that, things were building up in the 30s, and in the 40s it was even more violent when Gandhiji called for quit India, for Englishmen, for all foreigners to quit India. At the same time, a war broke out, and the impact of the war was very great. The import of goods from UK got scarce. The war came nearer home when the Japanese entered the war, and Singapore came to be a hub of the war. And so the British had to make alternate arrangements. We had air raid precaution all over the country, and the windows had to have shutters, blacked out shutters, cars had to have blacked out headlamps, and things like that. And we had the British Army and the American forces stationed in Madras. The airport was not adequate for the military operations. So they had to build another airport near Sabaram military airport, and they had to build also a landing place near the fort, near the Madras port. So they built an airport, airstrip rather, made up of a steel mat, foldable steel mat, and extending all the way from the university in the north. University near the river, near the iron bridge. In those cases, it's called the iron bridge, the Napier Bridge, and today it's a concrete bridge. From that bridge right up to the present lighthouse, which at the time did not exist, was in the High Court building premises. Lighthouse was part of the High Court. So for that 3-mile strip, they had a steel mat which formed the runway, and single-engine aircraft were landing and taking off from there. The result was people were not allowed to go to the beach after 6 p.m. and only people with passes could come on the forbidden areas. Now things are so different in the other aspects also. For instance, the medium of news spreading was mostly confined to the newspapers. The radio was not well established by that time, and All India Radio came to be on the air only in the mid-30s. I still remember Madras city used to have Rajaji inaugurated the All India Radio station in Madras.
Will you kindly now listen? I am Rajagopalachari and I am speaking from Madras All India Radio Broadcasting Station.
And there used to be a loudspeaker in the center of the aisle at Triplicane Beach, where people used to gather around the post carrying the loudspeaker. People come there every day to listen for the 6 o'clock news, which used to go on for half an hour. And that's the only news medium available to the common public at that time. The only other place where the public could get access to news was, for instance, in the Hindu office, Kasturi building in Mount Road. They used to put posters every half an hour, change the headlines of the posters to reflect the incoming news. right from the ticker tape, it will come onto the street. And that's the only source of fresh juice we had in those days. Now, in today's context, where we have the whole world at the tip of a finger, or information at the end of a mouse, there is something very difficult for youngsters today to understand things like that.
I feel very fortunate that the Independence Day season I spent at Periyar Dam, where my uncle was the dam superintendent. The previous evening, he very dramatically lowered the uh, Union Jack. Uh, the water rushing from the baby dam sounded like drum calls, and the chirping of birds was like flute trills, and the sounds that the elephant made were like trumpet calls. So it was a very dramatic thing. Then the next morning, he raised our national flag, and India became independent, and I was enjoying it at a very remote place, near the Kerala border.
15th, 1947, the great symbol of the British Empire came down for the last time to be replaced by the banner of the new Indian government.
எனக்கு நினைவு தெரிஞ்ச வரையில் அப்போ ரொம்ப சின்னவன். நாங்கள் யூரோப்பியன் ஹை ஸ்கூலில் படிச்சுட்டு இருந்தோம். அப்போ திடீர்னு சாயந்தரம் இந்த மாதிரி இண்டிபெண்டன்ஸ் டிக்ளேர் ஆகிடுச்சுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு எங்களுக்கு ஸ்வீட்ஸ் எல்லாம் கொண்டு வந்து கொடுத்து, ஒரு உங்களுக்கு யாருக்காவது இது பாட தெரியுமா அப்படின்னு சொன்ன உடனே நாங்களாம் எழுந்து ஆடுவோமே பள்ளு பாடுவோமே, அதுதான் எங்களுக்கு தெரியும்.
ஆடுவோமே பள்ளு பாடுவோமே, ஆனந்த சுதந்திரம் அடைந்து விட்டோம், ஆடுவோமே.
அது பாடிட்டு இன்னைக்கு லீவு போங்க நீங்கள் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ரொம்ப அழகாக எங்கள் இந்த மதர் சிஸ்டர்ஸ் எல்லாம் எங்கள் வீட்டுக்கு அனுப்பிச்சா. நாங்கள் போகிற வழியில் எங்கள் ஃப்ரெண்டு காயத்ரி பானர்ஜின்னு, அவள் அப்பா ரொம்ப பேட்ரியட். அவர் கீழே மேல் மாடியிலேருந்து கீழே பெரிய ஒரு 5-6 தட்டு இது கொண்டு வந்து வச்சு, எல்லாரும் ப்ளீஸ் ஷவுட் பாரத மாதாக்கு ஜேன்னு கத்துங்கோ, பாட்டு பாடுங்கோ அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு இது கொடுத்து அவர் அப்படியே கண்ட தண்ணி வழியை இது பண்ணியிருந்தார். ரோட்டில் நாங்கள் நடந்து வரோம், ரோடெல்லாம் ஒரே கொடியெல்லாம் கையில் வச்சுட்டு ஒரே ஆர்ப்பாட்டமாக இருந்தது.
வந்தே மாதரம் என்போம், எங்கள் மாநில தாயை வணங்குதும் என்போம், வந்தே மாதரம் என்போம்.
எங்கள் வீட்டுக்கு வந்தால் எங்கள் தாத்தா கையில் கொடியை வச்சுட்டு, வாம்மா நமக்கு சுதந்திரம் வந்துருச்சுமா, சுந்தரா தேவியே வந்துட்டா நமக்கு அப்படின்னு சொன்னார். ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமாக இருந்தது.
Independence Day was in 1947. In 1946 itself, the England created a interim government that was ruled by Jawaharlal Nehru. 1 year of India under Britain. That was from 1946 to 47. After that, in 47, the freedom was given, and all these Indians became chief ministers and prime ministers. After that, the division of states came, and the division of states, before the division of states, there were several kingdoms in India, like Mysore, Travancore, Cochin. These were separate kings. It was later that these states were removed, and India became one single nation.